Welcome to Claude and the Bansters, and I've got a very special guest with me today, Dan Potts. Hello, how are you, Dan?
Oh, I'm really good, cheers, Claude. Thanks for having me on, mate. Always a pleasure to come on your channel, mate. And it's good to see you looking so well, mate. So thanks for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure having you on. Have you recovered from the cup final?
Mate, I was very drunk, mate. It was a great weekend, weren't it? And I'm still buzzing from it, Claude, if I'm honest. I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop watching it on the highlights. It was something so unexpected and a great kind of end, wasn't it? Because it's been such an atrocious season for everything that's been going on. So to get that FA Cup win was just one of the most special ones, I think. And I've been lucky enough to see quite a few as an Arsenal fan, but that one just felt more special, Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great. It was. They had the elements of luck. Yeah, the key players went off for them. I thought first 10 minutes, I was thinking we was going to another Baku was going to happen, because they were cutting through us quite easily, and the goal was a really poor goal to give away. But having said all that, I think the drinks break done us a big favour. I'm not a big fan of that drinks break, but it worked for us. Because I think he changed it around a bit, and Pulisic was better, closely marked better. And I think in the end, once he went off injured, I think we took control of the game, really. And I thought, yeah, a really a great result. Performance-wise, good enough. I thought it was a good performance as well. And I'm happy because it's not been a good season. It's been a very poor season, you know what I'm saying? So it's a bonus to pick up the FA Cup at the end of it. I'm going to pull you up on one thing, though, Dan. I was listening to you the other night. I love listening to you on Same Old Arsenal, because that's just, you come out with some really great things. But
Cheers,
comparing it with Pep and putting him on the same level as Pepper and Guardiola, I think he went a bit OTT. Wasn't the drink talking, was it?
I was excited, mate. I was excited. Yeah. Listen, he's learnt off of someone there who I really respect in Pep Guardiola. I think he's got the ability to kind of replicate that eventually, but he's still learning on the job. And sometimes you and your buzzing, you do go over the top with stuff, don't you? All I was pointing out, to be fair though, in a serious note, was I was saying about his tactics and what he's done, because he hasn't got the tools Arteta like Pep Guardiola has. So what he's done is he's changed that system, and that's something we've seen that perhaps Pep Guardiola hasn't done. Pep Guardiola just went into the market and just bought the players to keep the same formation. Arteta's had to change it. So that was the point I was kind of getting across. But I've been really impressed with him, Claude. I really have. I've been really impressed with Arteta. Just at the celebrations at the end, going up to every player and hugging them, and it continues in the dressing room. We haven't seen that for years, have we? So it's been great to get our Arsenal back just for that weekend. And let's go into the summer transfer window now and have a really good window for the first time in years.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Glad you've all joined us in the chat here, and welcome to the chat, everyone. I won't call you all your names out because we haven't got that much time. As Dan is quite a busy guy, so we'll get on. We'll get on to the subjects now. Right, Dan. I'm going to go into this. I don't know how you feel about this. 50 people are being laid off at Arsenal, right? I've probably got a different point of view from you. I believe if this is a separate thing where players' contracts are legally binding, whereas the staff at Arsenal are not legally binding contracts, are they? So what I'm trying to say to you, these things are different. We know about the chief. The scout has also been taken out. But from what I'm hearing is that a lot of scouts now, because of this COVID, are not allowed into grounds, so are not been given permission to go into grounds now. So that's another thing that is happening as well. So what I see is that you can't with this staff, with the match day staff, if the revenue is not coming in, you cannot pay for people's wages if they're not working. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So I can understand that, and it's a separate thing from transfer, where transfer and budget is all different, completely different. So I think there's a lot of hysteria going on about this. I don't know where you come on this subject.
I think it's a really, really tough one because you can't win in this situation. Somebody is going to lose out. They've got to do something. They're a business. Let's not get it twisted. Arsenal Football Club is a business, and you can't sit there and pay canteen staff when there's no canteen to open. You can't sit there and pay shop assistants when the shop's not open. So what do we do? It's really tough on Francis Cagagal because he has been fantastic in scouting Fabregas, Bellerin, Martinelli, some of the others. So, you know, he is a scout I really enjoyed, but you're dead right with the scouting system, Claude. I think that's a great point that you bring up there. I don't really want to get on Kroenke's back. I mean, you know, people are saying to me, texting me today, saying that the club and the owner and the board are a disgrace and all this, but I don't see any other clubs like Abramovich and all the others paying their clubs off and giving them all their money. So it isn't just always about let's just blame Stan Kroenke. I'll say that to start with. As much as I still don't like the guy and want him, you know, I want to see some owners with ambition and who love Arsenal. I still don't think that it's always point the finger at him. And the other person that everyone's frustrated at is Mesut Ozil, but if you're going to blame Mesut Ozil and you're going to blame players' wages and stuff like that, then blame Wenger and Gazidis because that were the people who bloody put him on it. It weren't Kroenke and it weren't Raul. So if you're going to get frustrated with them, then blame the previous regime because we're stuck with these players on these stupid wages. And that's another story. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think anyone can win with this, Claude. I don't know about you. I just think that it's going to be a dreadful situation. It's a horrible time for everyone, isn't it? You know.
See, I don't. What people don't realise is that players' wages and the staff wages and buying players are completely different issues. Because when you're buying a player, he's doing a job for you. Where the people that they're laying off, you're laying off people because there's no work there. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And that's what people have got to understand. This is business. All businesses run the same like that. Not just Arsenal. Every business runs the same. So I don't understand all the fuss of what people are putting them all together. I don't think it's going to affect who we're getting in. I think we all know that the money. Everyone says, "Oh, the money's there," but is the money there? At the end of the day, we've got to run. He's got to run the business in a self-sustaining model. Like everyone else has got to, but although that seems to be with that FFP going, I don't know what's happening with that. But at the end of the day, he's got to run that business that way, and we have to rely on signings. And let's get it right. You could pay £70 million for a player, right? Who can be absolutely useless, and you can get someone for 25 who could be a real star.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's all about picking the right players. We're linked. I don't know about you. We're linked now this morning to this. See, I'm going to ask you because you might probably know more about French football than I do. This Gabriel, I can't pronounce his surname, from Lille.
Magalhaes,
strong recommendations from Pepe. Do you know much about him?
I do. Yeah, I think it's a great signing if we can get him. I think he's 25 to 30 million pounds. He's a 22-year-old Brazilian left-footed centre-half. He's powerful. He's an absolute beast at the back. His one-on-one defending's great. His aerial ability's great. I think he's about 6'3". He just looks the sort of stature that we need at the back. He's somebody that's going to be an improvement on what we've currently got. And I think that it'd be a great signing, Gabriel Magalhaes. I think when you look at what his relationships like with Pepe, Lille definitely need money because that was why we got the instalment money through Pepe. So it's a realistic signing, and I think it's one that, you know, would definitely improve our back line. The only thing I will say about him is that I don't think Arsenal are the only team in for him, but he prefers an Arsenal move, is from what I'm being told. I think Manchester United are looking at him, Napoli are looking at him, and I think even Chelsea are, because all of those teams need defenders. But I think we've got the Brazil link and obviously the Pepe link to put us in kind of the front seat there. So I think that would be a great signing, Claude. I really do.
Yeah, there's Guna Standard says, I like Coutinho. The deal with Coutinho, I think, is in doubt now. I think there's a lot in doubt because I think it's about it's the big wages that he's on and everything like that. I don't know whether Arsenal will go through that. I think the Willian deal. I mean, where do you feel on the Willian deal? Where do you stand on it? I look at it as, I'm not sure, because what I'm looking at is only, I'm not sure, is he 31 or 32? Someone said he's 32 in a couple of days. So that's,
Yeah, he is.
So that's 32 years old. 3-year contract will take him up to 35. There's, of course, I don't think there's any sell-on value, but there won't be any sell-on value on this. But then we're getting him for nothing. But where do you stand on this? Because I don't know. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, and I don't know whether he has that hunger that he would have at Chelsea coming to us. Is he coming because of the money? Because we're offering him 3-year deal instead of a 2-year deal from Chelsea. Then has he got that? Is it just about money, or is it just? Does he really want to come? I don't want another Ozil situation. This is what I'm worried about. You know, we all talk about Ozil. I know this is not so much money, but what I'm trying to say, I want a player that wants to really play and take us to another level. Can he do that for us?
There's 3 things I want to happen in this summer transfer window. Aubameyang to sign a contract extension. I want Gabriel Magalhaes to come, and I'd love to see Thomas Partey in an Arsenal shirt. So the Willian and Coutinho thing for me, I'm happy for them to happen, but I want the other 3 things to happen first. Because for me, a defensive midfielder and a centre half is more important than Willian and Coutinho. Willian and Coutinho to me are just deals that are going to give us some creativity in midfield that, yes, perhaps we do lack, but we have got the likes of Pepe, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Saka on these wings. So Willian isn't a must signing for me. However, if we can afford it, then I would take it. I'm hearing that it's around 100 plus a week that he's getting, grand a week that he's getting. And if we can afford that, fantastic. But for me, anything until up to £200,000 a week for a 32-year-old who's got a couple of years left in him, I think is a silly move. So it doesn't excite me, but at the same time, he's an upgrade on Reece Nelson or one of the other lads. So I think personally that if he can get him in on a free transfer and we can be affordable, then that's fine. I just don't see us getting both Willian and Coutinho. I think it'll be one or the other personally.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think we've got to look more defensive midfield and another centre half. See, so that's where I'm coming in with this. I don't know where we are on Thomas Partey. I mean, there's...
Well, Archie's just put a great point in there saying that he agrees with me that the party, but nothing will happen until after the Champions League because obviously he's still in the Champions League with Atletico Madrid. So I think that's a great point from Archie there. I think that, you know, he'll wait until the Champions League done and then we'll go from there and see what happens. But, you know, got William Saliba as well, Claude, you know, a highly rated centre-half that's going to be important for us this year. So
I agree with you, but I still think we need another one in there. I know we won the FA Cup and everyone's saying that, but I'm sorry, consistently over a season, I don't trust these defenders, these defenders. Yes, on a one-off, yes, fantastic, but I'm sorry, I can see mistake after mistake with it. And what you've got to realise with Saliba, he's a young kid, yeah, he's going to come in and he's playing with defenders that are prone to making mistakes and it could drag him out as well a bit. I don't want to see that. I do think we need another body in there, another good centre, and that Gabriel would be a good signing. And then we could actually, because I know Arteta wants to go back to a 4. But if he's going to go back to a 4, he's got to change. He's got to get the 2 good top centre halves in there, hasn't he?
Oh, 100%. And if it can be Gabriel and Saliba, let's see what happens there. We still got Pablo Mari that I don't really know much about. The jury's still out for me. I only saw a couple of games. He looked quite commanding, quite happy on the ball, could ping a pass, a little bit similar to David Luiz, I suppose. But I think that, you know, there's some defenders. I think, if I'm honest with you, Claude, this transfer window, I'm actually more excited at the outgoings than the incomings because we need to get rid of some of these dead wood, mate. You know, the Socrates and the Mustafis and the, you know, Rob Holdings and Chambers of this world that are just not going to make it at Arsenal. We've got to be ruthless with it, you know.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think you could sell half of these down a car boot sale. Never mind.
Oh, I agree, mate. And Kolasinac, you know, who's going to want these players?
Exactly. This is another problem. You can't. It's all very well, but a lot of them. I've got another thing I want to ask you about is Lacazette, and I think he could. Now, listen. I think his work rate's tremendous. I like his work rate, but his lack of goals tells me that should we cash in on him, especially now? He's another one that's going to go into a situation where we're going to get no money for, hardly any money, because he's going into 2 years. He's got 2 years left of his contract. If he don't sign the contract now, an extended contract, should we now say, look, cut our losses here, get him in, put him as part of the deal for Party?
I would, because if we're getting Willian in, okay, I think Arteta's looking at that thinking, okay, Willian and Pepe with Aubameyang through the middle. Yeah. Let's get Party in for Lacazette because we need Party more than we do Lacazette, and then we can allow that front three to work. And if you're going to get Coutinho in as well, then he can play in that midfield three or towards a number 10 with a Ceballos or Xhaka or whoever you want to play in there. And that's not a bad team then, you know. You're looking at Saliba and Gabriel behind. We're starting to look a little bit more like an Arteta side as opposed to an Arsene Wenger side because these signings got to go, Claude, you know. These signings that were there when Wenger were there, I want them gone, you know. I'd cash in on some of these players that were there when Xhaka was there, Wenger was there, like Xhaka and Bellerin and Kolasinac and Lacazette. You know, if we can get some money for these players, then let's get him. If Lucas Torreira's homesick and we can get 30 million, I like Torreira. I think he's a battler, but get rid of him and he can replace him. You know, they're the players we're going to get the money for. We're not going to get any money for El Neni and Socrates and Mustafi and all these players, are we? You know, we're stuck with them.
Yeah. It's like when when you're putting something out for the rubbish and it stays outside your house for about 3 weeks because no one wants it. That's the same thing. Yeah. You put them out on the street, no one will pick them up. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I know what you mean. I do understand what you mean on that one because it's I don't know. I when we first got El Neni, I said to myself, that's a £5 million signing. That's what 5 million. What you get for 5 million? People laughed at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say.
I couldn't believe that we've given him a contract extension and he's been given a squad number and everything. I just think, why is he still at this club? Just get rid of these players, you know. And they're on ridiculous wages, aren't they?
I think Mkhitaryan, there is a talent there, but it just doesn't suit. It doesn't go well in the Premier. I don't know. There's something about that Mkhitaryan as well that doesn't stick with me.
I think he's gone to Roma and he's going to stay at Roma. I think
it just doesn't work. It said apparently he's doing all right over there, but
yeah,
it just doesn't work in the Premier League. For some reason, it don't work in the Premier League. I don't know why. It just doesn't work, and that's why he never worked at United, and that's why they offloaded him. I mean, we both got stung on that, didn't we? With the Alexis.
That was an abysmal deal, wasn't it?
I watched him last night. He's a bear. He came on as sub last night, and he's just. It's like he just don't want to know anymore. It's sad, really, because what a talented player he was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think we knocked that all out of him. I think we playing with the players around him that didn't want to. I think that's another thing. I think the players' mentality around him messed him up psychologically as well.
Oh, really we've had a huge mentality problem, mate. You know, when Bellerin comes out and says Alexis wants to win too much, that to me says, what's going on with that? You know, crazy.
This is what I'm saying.
What do you think about Maitland-Niles then, Claude? Because there's a rumour about Maitland-Niles that I like him. I
think he's tremendous. I think he's a tremendous. He can play right back, left back, midfield. He's definitely a player we should keep because of what he can do. I think he's a tremendous player. I like Maitland-Niles, but I don't know what happened with him and Arteta because something was going on there. I don't know what. Apparently, he didn't turn up for a Zoom meeting or something. That really does. I mean, that really affects your performance on the pitch, doesn't it? I mean, oh dear. No, but apparently, yeah. I do like Maitland-Niles. I'm a big fan of Maitland-Niles. What about the goalkeeping situation? That's another thing I'm going to look at the moment. With the goalkeeping, is one of them going to be on the way out? Because I heard this morning that Martinez is quoted as saying that he's not prepared to play for a club. He only wants to play for a club that gives him games. So is that now a possibility now that he's on his way out, or do we make Leno number 2 and give him a run of the? I would keep him in, to be honest, because I think he showed in that when he did come on in the last few games, he showed a lot of more authority than Leno did. I think there's a bit of he's got his kick is not the greatest, but nor is Leno. So where would you stand on that thing?
I want to keep both of these goalkeepers because it's the only time that Arsenal have had 2 good goalkeepers since Alex Meninga and David Seaman back in 1998. So I want to try and keep hold of both of them. I like Leno. I think he's been our most consistent performer for the last 2 seasons, along with Aubameyang. But Martinez has been outstanding since he's come in. It wouldn't surprise me if Arteta doesn't start with Martinez in the new season. Because the window is going to still be going on, obviously, when we've already kicked off, I think there may be a little bit of swapping around going personally, because Martinez is going to say, am I going to be your number 1? Because I'll stay if I am. If not, I'm off, because Leeds are really interested in Martinez. And I watched a playoff final the other night, and that Raya in goal for Brentford made an absolute howler, but apparently he's been excellent all season, and Arsenal were linked with him as backup. So we wouldn't be linked with him as backup if Martinez was thinking of going, or Leno. But I don't know. If you had to ask me, I think I'd probably say to Martinez, look, you've been absolutely fantastic for these last few games. You've been with us 10 years. You've stuck with us. You've been here long enough now. You go and get your chance somewhere and you deserve it, mate. Because Leno's good enough still. So that's the way round I think I'd do it. Because it's not fair on a kid to put him on the bench, really, is it, again, after what a fantastic start he's had. And I can't see Leno going anywhere. So personally, I think that's the way around I'd do it. But I want to keep them both, Claude.
On the chat, someone's asking me our thoughts on Jadon Sancho going to. I think I think he's bound for United. That's another ongoing saga that's been going on for months and months and months. Well, from what I've seen of him, a good young player. Didn't get in at Man City, did he? Went to Dortmund. Back in the Premier League. We'll see how he get. I think he will adapt. I mean, De Bruyne came back, didn't he, from going out of Man City and going out of Chelsea and then coming back to the Premier League through going through Europe. So yeah, I think he's a good prospect. I don't know what sort of price they're paying that. I don't know what sort of price they're paying for him though. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's about 100 to 120 million, isn't it? Yeah, and that's a lot of money. And I just think with Man United, again, like us, they need a holding midfielder and a centre-half. So to buy another winger when they've already got Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, all these attacking players, you'd like to think that they'd look towards the defence. But saying that, he would be a fantastic signing. He's a great player. And it's strange with Man City for me because getting rid of Leroy Sané and Jadon Sancho and keeping Mahrez and Sterling, I think I'd rather do it the other way around, if I'm honest, because I think that those two are going to be 2 of the most talented young wingers in the world, let alone just in England. So I think with Sancho, if he does go to Man United, that's a special talent there. But, they can't buy all these same players. It's like Arsenal buying wingers. We need to be buying centre-halves and defensive midfielders if we want to move forward, Claude,
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Son, for that. Son Goku is the one asked about that. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. It's my pronunciations are really terrible. Let's see if there's any other questions we could ask here. Mr. Arsenal podcast is in the chat as well. Hi, Ryan. Hope you're well.
All right.
I don't like your quizzes are too hard, mate. Sorry, all this these quizzes that you do with Kenny Ken. I'm sure I can't compete in them. Not with Kenny Ken winning every week. Oh dear. Archie, what will matter? Yeah, exactly. Archie's making a. If there's no match day staff, there's no. At the moment, Arsenal going to be even when we go back to normal, Arsenal are going to be at 40% capacity apparently, and apparently there's no away fans allowed at games next season apparently. So if there's 40% capacity, you can't employ the staff, can you?
No.
Exactly. So it's all very well people say, oh, they got billions and pounds. But that's not how business works, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you think of it as a restaurant or another business. If they shut for a year, they wouldn't still employ their staff for another year and a half, would they? They'd have to make them redundant if they'd stop. So you got to look at it in the business terms
Yeah.
and say we're going to be paying these people for sitting at home doing nothing. We've got to do something about it. It's not saying they're never going to work for the club again, but at the moment in this current state, they can't keep paying out money just for the sake of it. Listen, I'd love Kroenke to turn around and say, listen, here you go, put yourself back afloat. I've got enough money, but he's not going to. He's not going to pump money into Arsenal because he's already made it clear he doesn't care about Arsenal. He's not an owner that has ambition for Arsenal to win things. The manager has that ambition, which is fantastic. And I'm hoping the board prove that they back him in the summer transfer window because it will prove that they have ambition as well. But Kroenke's not going to come in and say, there you go, there's £1 billion, Arsenal. Keep yourself afloat for the next year after this pandemic. It's not going to happen.
Tahir, this might be one for you actually, because I know you're a massive Ozil fan. He says Ozil is a scapegoat for Arsenal. He'll always get blamed, regardless of how Arsenal go down. You know what? I'm going to say this. It's not just Ozil's fault. If someone gave you, I'm talking about you, Dan, right? Someone gave you 300 grand a week and said, here's your contract. You're not going to say, "Oh, I can't be. Oh, I won't. I'm not going to be because I'm not going to give anything. So I won't take it because I feel bad if I take it and I don't do anything." You're not going to do it. It's the club's fault. It's Gazidis' fault for offering him that contract, not Ozil.
I totally agree, mate.
If you put yourself in his position now, right? He's on £18 million for sitting there on his backside, yeah. And let's put it this way: it's not that because he doesn't want to go; it's because Arteta doesn't want to pick him, right? And we all know why. We all know why this has happened. By the way, it's nothing to do with his attitude. It's more to do with that he didn't take the pay cut. Let's get this. Let's get this right here. Yeah, let's get this all. I'll say it. I don't care what anyone's. It's because he didn't take the pay rise that Arteta's been told not to pick him anymore. Okay, that's the reason there. So if you're sitting there and the club don't want you, and well, you're gonna sit there for 18 million a year, aren't you? Anyone is going, and you're gonna get paid 18 million pounds for just lying back and playing Fortnite. Oh, lovely! I'll take that any day, wouldn't you?
This is the thing, mate. I would, and this is why I don't blame Ozil for the money he's on. I blame Wenger and Gazidis because the previous regime put him on ridiculous wages. Where I blame Ozil is his lack of mentality is weak, and he is a player with the most technical ability we have in the side. He's technically our best player in the side, 100%. So I look at that and I think, why can't you do it on the pitch? And it's all down to his lack of mentality and his attitude, which is poor and weak. He is just more interested in PR stunts. He's more interested in getting on Instagram and telling everybody that he loves Arsenal when he's ready to play, all to get on Arteta's back. The way he's treated Arteta over this period of time, someone he played with and apparently respected, I think has been pretty poor. And Arteta's right to drop the guy out the side. I think he's been ruthless. I think he said, listen, you don't fit into my style of play. You don't want to take the pay cut. I don't want you in the team. So I'm going to freeze you out. Go and find another club. There's rumours we've offered 5 to 6 million just to get him gone, and he's rejected it because he wants the 18, which is obviously, going to happen. So anybody who thinks Ozil's going to leave this summer, give your head a wobble. He is staying there next season until his contract runs down on his 18 million a year. And that is what's going to happen.
Unless Arsenal just pay him 16 or 17 million and get him out, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's what, and he's entitled to do that. I mean, or if another club comes in and wants to pay half his wages or whatever, I don't know I don't think it's going to happen. So there you go. You're stuck, and that's it. And who knows what's going to happen next season? So it'd be one for because he's going to be asked a lot of questions in the summer. And I mean, once the season starts and Ozil's still there, he's going to be asked a lot of questions. He can't keep saying about his back, is he? So it's going to be a lot of questions are going to be asked by the media, and he's going to be put under a lot of pressure on that one. Yeah. The back thing will not be allowed anymore. That people won't accept that. What's going to ask you? I'm going to ask you to finally to wrap this up. There, right? I'm going to ask you what you feel and in your opinion, is it going to happen or isn't it going to happen? First of all, do you think is it going to happen, Gabriel, for Arsenal?
I think that's going to happen. I really do. There's a lot of sources and reports coming out that he's chosen Arsenal. The Brazil link definitely looks very good for confidence to have the advantage for Arsenal. I think Gabriel Magalhaes will be an Arsenal player. I just got something about it. It looks right for me. It looks the right realistic sort of signing, and price range is no more than 30 million. I think that's an Arsenal signing all day long, and I'd love to see it. I think it'd be a good signing for us.
What about then? I'm going to go about Aubameyang, yeah? Right. Me personally, if we've got to try and keep him, I'm going to ask you on the Aubameyang one, right? Do you first of all, do you think it will happen? And second, I want to ask you, if he doesn't sign and he says, I'm going to wait till the contract go and then decide. In your mind, do you think Arsenal should let the contract run down, or do you think then they should say no, we sell?
I think that he will sign. I don't know when, but I think that he's trying to get the right deal. But I think that I'm confident he's signed. Arteta's come out and said he's confident he'll sign. I don't think he'd say that. I think he'd say we're going to see where we're going to have a chat and we'll see what happens. That would mean to me that he's going. But he come out and he said, I think it will happen. Yes, I think he's happy here and I think we can get the right deal. But when it comes to what I would do if he doesn't sign, and I said this before the season, before anything, I would let him run that contract down and let him decide where he wants to go, because we're probably going to get about £40 million and we're not going to replace him with it. The guy is so important to this club. He scores all of our goals. He's our captain. He's our leader at the moment, and he's the one that's getting us out of trouble. He's scored in big games, which people said he isn't. He's scoring in big games. We have to keep Aubameyang. And if we're not going to sign, I don't care how much money we get for him, even if it's 60 million. We're not going to replace him with that, because to replace Aubameyang's goals, you're going to have to go and get a Haaland or a Mbappe or Neymar or somebody like that, or Aguero. We're not going to get them. So we have to just keep him, unfortunately, and say, listen, you've been great for the club. You go and play wherever you want, but we aren't going to sell you. You can run your contract down to decide where you want to go. And that's the best bet for me. But I'm confident he'll sign, Claude. I really am. I think he's bought into the Arteta way. And I think that if he does sign, it's Arteta we have to thank.
Right. And what about, which is fair enough, what about Willian? You think that deal will happen?
Yeah, I think that's done, mate. I really do. I think it looks all over the place that we've got him on a 3-year contract, £100,000 a week plus, and he's chosen us over Chelsea because we've offered him that extra year. So I think we'll get Willian. And again, it's not a deal that excites me, but I'm okay with it at the moment, as long as we strengthen the positions as well that we need.
Yeah, that is a good point. Coutinho, I think. You think that is dead? That's dead, I think, isn't it?
I don't know if it's dead, but I think that it's more unlikely now that we're getting Willian. I think they're looking at both of them and probably looking at trying to get both if we can afford both. You know, if we can sort out wages and loan with a deal to buy, I think we'll go for both. I like Coutinho a lot. I thought it was fantastic at Liverpool. I know it's not worked for him at Barcelona, but it happens sometimes. They're a massive club and they've got some great players. But if he was to come to Arsenal, he'd walk into our side and improve it. So, you know, I'm more excited about some other players than Coutinho and Willian, but I wouldn't be totally dead against getting them both, because I think that they're proven in the Premier League to score goals.
I think that also at Barcelona, and I think this is why I don't look at that too much, is if you look at Alexis when he was there, the reason they got rid of him is because they had Neymar coming in, and also they had to. It's all about getting the players that sells, you know, as well. And
they've got so many, and if you get buy one, another one's going to go.
He was the flavour of the month at the time, and
absolutely.
And it happens. It happened with Real Madrid when they went and got Gareth Bale, and now they can't get rid of him. They want to get rid of him, isn't it? That's flavour of the month, you know, and that's what happens. And I also believe that when players go to Barcelona, they can't really show their individual quality because it's all based around Messi. I do believe that, and I think that's another thing that I think is the reason why a lot of players don't.
Well, if you look at
look at Ibra at Barca.
Yeah.
He wasn't there long, was he? Because he has to work around Messi. So it's all about getting it. Even when Henry went there,
Yeah.
Henry was told he couldn't play like he did at Arsenal. He had to play in a different way because it's all about Messi. All about
And
Messi.
you look at Ronaldo now at Juventus. Ramsey's gone there, and he can't get a look in, and they've got other players that just can't get a look in.
I'm not a massive fan of Ramsey. I mean, this is where we all have different opinions. I just feel he's a bit overhyped for me. And he carries he's had a lot of injury. He's never really got a run, did he? A proper run without getting injured. Anyway, thanks, Dan. I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and joining me today for this. And what are you up to? What are you going to be up to later? Same old Arsenal now, isn't it?
Yeah, same old Arsenal. We are going to have a couple of weeks off. I think Craig and the boys want to have a couple of weeks just to have a bit of a summer. But we'll be back on a Monday night in a few weeks' time to get back into the transfers in the new season. So at same old AFC on Twitter in capitals, and if you want to follow myself, then it's at DanArsenal87. Cheers, guys, and thank you, Claude.
Just make sure Graham has his phone switched off.
Yeah. I couldn't stop laughing at that.
All right then. No, thanks for coming on, and thanks for everyone in the chat. Sorry I couldn't read everything out. I just wanted to get a lot of this stuff out today. I really do appreciate it. All you people in the chat there, coming in the chat. Sorry if but then when Terry comes on tonight, if you're on tonight, we've got Sam Cox, young pro boxer, a big Arsenal fan, coming on talking about his career and how it's going. So come on now, and I'm sure Terry will answer all your chats. Unfortunately, me, I'm not as like Terry. I can't do all these things in one. So we'll see. We'll come on tonight, and don't forget, it's going to be a good night tonight. 9 o'clock tonight. Sam Cox, professional boxer, young professional boxer, on his way up, and he's going to talk to us about his career and about his love for Arsenal. Okay, so thanks, Dan. Thanks for coming on. Thank you, everyone. And yes, well, Mesut Ozil, it's time to go.